We'll talk about myself in a minute, but let me first kick off this with an agenda and how power packed this 1 hour would be. So we'll start with what and why on product roadmap. I think most of us, I'm not sure on the audience, who are you, but I am going to keep this very neutral so that, anybody coming from any background can connect to this. There won't be, kind of very high level or very low level. It would be like, very common, where everybody who is aspiring product owner and hopefully who are seniors might, I'm able to, give some two cents of my value addition on my experience, on if any senior folks have joined. So we will talk about product roadmap. We'll say why and what, right? Key components, of course. What are types of roadmap? Myths, best practices, typical what a tool should have and what you should aspire in your product road mapping tool. Of course, we can't finish this session without touching upon how the disruptive AI or generative AI is going to help us. And at the end, we will have a Q&A kind of session. So with that said, I'm moving ahead. Two disclaimers here. The content that I'm presenting today, it's available on public domain. There is nothing specific to any company. So that's the first disclaimer. Second, I am not going to touch upon any techniques here. Prioritization, stakeholder metrics. I'm purposely keeping that off track because I want to clearly focus on the road mapping aspects of product. Okay. So with that said, I'm going to move ahead and talk a little bit, spend time on myself. So I have overall 13 plus years of corporate experience and 3 years of freelancing experience. This has been pretty much my journey. I started with a developer, senior developer, lead, business analyst, senior business analyst, product owner, and right now I am also playing role of product owner at JP Morgan. I have handled a couple of products around big data pipelines. I have got opportunity to work as a full stack developer during my freelancing course when I took a break. And all the technologies that you see were part of my career growth. I have worked on a couple of databases. With that said, as you see, the first 3 top boxes that talks about the product roadmap, product ownership, and spec by example, which I have heavily used during my business analyst career. So that's pretty much me. And welcome to any questions that you might have on any of these. Happy to answer. So with that, we are going to kick off what and why of product roadmap. Why do you think the product roadmap is important, and why we see people talking about this all the time today, right? So you must have got great ideas in your mind, right? You must have got excellent ideas in your mind. But do you think everybody in the world are able to get that through on the table? And what's that one thing which helps you to go from your ideation to reality? So that's what is product roadmap, right? It's giving life to your product virtually. Seeing, okay, at this month, I should be able to play with this aspect of my product and that aspect of my product, right? My customer should be talking about my product, right? So that's where this roadmap comes into picture. Okay. Now, why do we need to do this? Why is this exercise important? Anybody can question me. Okay, Palak, okay, you are talking about product roadmap, and you told me it shows the life of the product, but why is it important? Right? What are the value addition that they are going to give us at the end of it? So I'm going to jot down some points here. And I think most of us, if they have some experience in the product ownership or management domain, they would kind of agree with me that some of the challenges that we as a product fraternity face is keeping team aligned, right? A person in my team should know what is my vision. Only then that person can work very effectively to the end goal. Okay. So that's team alignment, clarity, of course. Who likes surprises at any moment, right? Suddenly, oh, we are not going live. Oh, that's not what I wanted, right? What's the reason? Tell me, right? So that's what we called as clarity, right? Keeping everybody on the same page, right? Now, planning, of course, it gives you a timeline to plan well in advance if you know where your product is going, okay? At the end of 2024, I should see my site live with 1,000 people using my services, using my products. That can be your a very high level plan, right? Now that gives you room for planning, right? You need to, the product and the functional aspect is one thing. You need to talk about a lot more other aspects on security, on stability, on scalability. And all these will happen if you plan well, right? Coming to flexibility, of course, it gives you a lot of flexibility. It helps you innovate things, right? So if you have planned and if you are kind of on track, you might want to deviate your plan and say, no, this sprint, I'm going to innovate something. This somehow I don't like it. I'm going to innovate. Your developer comes with some good suggestion that, why are we doing this way? Why not that way? That gives you a flexibility to innovate. Performance, of course, all your performance indicator goes in the same line, right? You ensure that you define for your team. A performance indicator or a KPI for a developer is going to be very different from a KPI of a product owner versus Scrum Master and versus product manager, right? Product manager might have 10 different products to handle, right? So this performance indicators are going to help when you know the roadmap. Right? Where your developers are allocated, what they have to achieve in this month or this sprint. Right? Prioritization, stakeholder management, resource management, we all will see this in detail in upcoming slides. Okay. Moving ahead, let's think about this. And this is a very good image. I got it from LinkedIn, of course. There was one post viral and I liked it very much. So when a leader or when a manager is walking on the floor and trying to understand what is my team doing, he goes to a developer and ask, okay, what are you doing? I am writing a code so that I get an XYZ as an output. It should have date, it should have month, it should have my name, etc., etc. No, but what are you doing? Why are you doing that? You don't get the answer, right? Now, when you go ahead, somebody tells you, I am building a dashboard so that it shows how many sales or how many things have gone viral this and how many likes or what is my engagement, customer engagement. Why are you doing it? Again, the why, right? Now, if you see the last part of it, right? You see, you go to third developer or maybe a product owner or somebody in the team and he tells, we are building the dashboard so that we understand where to optimize our product in next 1 month. And we want to ensure that right now from 80%, we want to have at least jump of 90% and increase in our customer base. At the same time, retain the talent which is already working on our platform by 100%. Are you happy with this answer? Yeah, you get a lot of insights, right? Why are you doing it? Right? You can join the dots, right? So we all want to be in the third place where, we are building a cathedral. That's the answer that we want, right? So there is I don't know if you guys can see, but John Cutler, he is a head of product research and education at Amplitude. Without a strategy, all you are left with good ideas, and there is no way you can make them to real life. So that's where the product roadmap and the strategies become extremely important to give life to your product. Okay, moving ahead, let's see. So key components. I see some chats on Zoom, but I'll give let's talk for a few more slides and we'll have that answers and I'll check the slide chat. What's the questions on this chat? Okay, let's think about key components. If people can ping the key components, can you ping me on the chat? I'll be very happy to keep it interactive and not bore you, because all this talks will only make sense if you take something back to your learning and also kind of apply it, right? And you come back and tell me, or Kaushal, that, this line in that session helped me and I did this and I did that, right? So what are the key components of product roadmap? Can anybody ping? I'll just wait for 5 seconds. If nobody pings, I'll understand that it's not coming. Oh, cool. I'm getting some cool answers here. Yeah. Timeline, yeah. No, timeline is good. Yeah. Features, product offering. Okay, I'm getting good answers. Now let's see how, let's deep dive on this. Vision, excellent. Somebody, Prashant, thank you for that answer. Yep. I was looking for that. So that's what broad key components are. Let's see. Let's move ahead. I'm facing, okay, the transition is not there. Vision. Somebody answered me vision, right? So that's the first step to your product roadmap. What is your vision, right? I gave a couple of examples in the start of my session that by XYZ year, I want to achieve this and I want to achieve that. Though I have to be very articulate about it, I have to add things to it, right? But I want to be very clear what are the key components. Vision, right? And we are not going to do this only by me talking about the components. We will put it in a case study. I'm going to take a case study with this. So I'm going to put a vision in front of all of you. And we all have experienced this in between 2020 to 2022. So how travel and tourism picked up in pandemic. Very, very close thing. I think everybody must have experienced, and that's why I kind of choose this as case study. Now, what do you think when this whole pandemic hit us? What travel and tourism must have thought as for their vision? They must have thought a lot of things, right? The initial things would be, how do they become resilient, right? How the things become safer? They would have empathized with the situation, right? And they would have innovated a lot of things. So the vision, when we think about travel and tourism together, it includes a lot of parties, okay? It includes air transport, it includes a lot of things in there, hotels, etc., etc. Now you think this whole company, what would they have thought? They would have come together, right? And the vision would be, how can we become sustainable in this very, very stringent or unexpected situation that has hit our globe, right? So some vision values that they would have taken would be to become a very resilient, to have that safety as their goals, empathize, and to innovate things. Now, what do you think? What is the next step of the product roadmap? I'm going to match back to our use case, okay? Goals? Do anybody agree, disagree? You can ping me, you can ask me. I'll be very happy to talk about it. So would be goals, right? So when you have a vision, you break them down to your goals, right? That's how you realize it. So when you break them down into goals, when we go back to our case study, what will it be? Digital transformation, right? Contactless things to be done, flexible, or maybe, policies to be changed. And do you think it was an easy job to change the policies when so many parties are involved, right? To change the policies, to change your digital transformation? What would be some other goals? Please keep on putting on chat. It's very exciting to know people are with me. I hope I don't make anybody sleep here. I want to be very engaged with you. For engagement, right? When we are talking about engagement with customers, quarantine facilities, yes, safer towels, very good. Yep. And then what would be the last one, which is very, very beneficial for them to run as a business? Sustainable travel, sustainable packages. See, there were extremely sad situation in that domain, right? When we think about it, right? But they were able to overcome all these challenges. And why did that happen? Because they came together. They thought about it, right? Now, what is the next step to goals? Let's come back to our components. What's the next thing in our roadmap? Objective key results, we all talk about this, right? So what do you think the goals that I mentioned were very, they were business oriented, but they also had some emotional connect, right? So how do you think this can be objectivized, as well as they would have come up with key results? I'll not go to deep detail. If anybody is interested, please reach out. I will share that case study with you. I have it in very detailed form, but I'm happy to share if anybody wants. But in interest of time, I'm going to jump back and forth on case study versus what we are talking here, right? So what do you think would be some of the objectives, right? Let's talk about one or two, right? So safety and well-being. You cannot do anything very prior to this. This is the utmost priority, or maybe we can say the only priority at that point in time, right? So what people would have done, like what would be their objectives and key results at that time? Ensuring that people feel safe, they have a safer environment, things are ready, whether it is airport, whether it is hotels, whether it is things like, giving payments, etc., etc., right? So what could have been key result for it? Implement contactless things 100%, right? Maybe achieve customer satisfaction up to 90% on this aspect, right? Empathize with customers, and not only customers, right? Even the teams working on these domains, like they were working there from home. People changed. I mean, it was such a good acceleration, I would say, to bring people to work from home, right? Safety measures, security measure. Okay, somebody is asking me what is the difference between goals and objectives. I'm not able to see the name, but very good question. Goal is a one step before objectives. Objective is something that you measure and it's achievable in terms of key results. So my goal is that people should feel very safe. There should be flexible policies for them. That's my goal. But what is the objective? I should be able to measure that back. The objective can be empathize, enhance safety, well-being of the people. And how would I measure that? Ensuring that there are safety measures everywhere on the airport, maybe on the aircraft. We are not making too crowded. You saw that, urgent travels, people had like one seat, you left empty, there were 3 seats empty there. You had these kind of things. We have never seen this in our history, right? So that's the key difference between goals and objectives. One more quick example that I'll give is embracing digital transformation, right? Contactless delivery, contactless things. If I talk about sustainable travel, there were packages coming up with bungalows, right? People wanted to stay secluded, not go in hotels, not go in resorts, right? So if you just think holistically how the product roadmap helps, it should have all these in your components. At the end of the day, you should be able to tell that I'm able to achieve my vision by X, Y, Z, right? Okay. Now, and objectives, when you say about objective, it links back to key results. It should be measurable, okay? Keep that in mind. Now, I have missed one very important thing in all this. What do you think the extremely important thing that made all this happen? What is the fourth component that is missing in all this? Any quick guesses? Okay, so I'm going to give it in interest of time. So it's KPI, no, because KPI we would be measuring in our key results. Pain points, gap, that would all be part of breaking your OKRs. But who made this possible for us? Let me open that secret. Stakeholders, right? Stakeholders, if the teams, if the transfer teams, the travel team and the resort team and the safety measure team would not have come together and thought about it, would this be possible? They identified what are the areas on the world which are very less impacted, where people can go for travel. They identified that, right? They made it possible that nothing is possible when you make things resilient and when you be resilient, right? So stakeholders play extremely important role in ensuring that you make your roadmap extremely well planned, flexible, clarity, all that we saw in our first few minutes, right? So with that, we have kind of covered on what are the key components and the strategies that you should apply to ensure that your roadmap has extremely good visibility from where you want to go and how you will go about it and how are you going to measure that. In all this, you have to do a couple of things. You have to do your stakeholder analysis, you have to prioritize things. We will, as I mentioned, those part becomes your part of techniques and tools, right? Okay, moving ahead. So now, okay, Palak, you have talked about a lot of things. You have talked about key components. You have talked about roadmap. Now, what are the benefits and challenges that we will kind of face in all this, right? Why should I understand the vision and all these things, but where I would quantify this? How am I helping to make value to not only my organization, not only my team, but to my customers, to my stakeholders, to my management, to my leadership team, right? Why would they pay a penny on my project to make it realize, right? So at the end, the money matters, right? We all want to ensure that we are bringing a value addition to our products, to our things, only if it has a sustainable growth, right? Growth in terms of experience, growth in terms of retention, growth in terms of your profits, correct? So let's see some benefits. So we will be bifurcating benefits between customers and our kind of product team, internal teams. So what are the benefits that, so when you have your roadmap and these things in place in one canvas, right? And you show it, how is your customer going to feel? They are going to feel trusted, right? They are going to feel that, yes, you are managing their expectation. If there is any gap, they will call it out, right? If you have not put some point which is really paining for them, they are going to come up to you and they are going to tell you, right? As I mentioned, and as I started my session with a saying that the toughest customer brings best out of you. So always be open to healthy conflicts. The healthy conflicts are extremely important to push you to new limits. You will not even understand, and you have gained so much knowledge out of it, so much learnings out of it. Healthy conflicts are essential so that you innovate things. The question that comes to you, why, is extremely important. Why are you doing this? Have you involved right people? Right? Are you keeping everybody informed who are required in the channel? Right? These kind of questions helps you a lot. So what are those key benefits that you get? Clear communication, transparency, which helps you in building trust, of course, customer centric, right? You are ensuring that you're putting customer in the middle of everything. We always talk about customer centric things, right? Are we taking their future plans? Are we understanding that, okay, our product is good, they have this roadmap, so what should we do to help them to achieve their roadmap, right? So growing with them, right? Of course, resource optimization. You have to ensure that all your resources, whether it is in terms of people, in tools, in money, they are all utilized to get that your big idea out of the way and realize it, right? And of course, the business impact goes without saying, right? You align with your strategy, with your roadmap. Now, let's see some benefits for our product team, like the teams which is actually making this happen for you. Of course, they will also have clarity. You don't want a developer telling you, okay, this is my input, this is my output, that's why I'm doing it. I have to achieve this output. No, but why are you achieving that output? How is it going to help you down the line, right? So it's going to help you down the line. For the feature team, it's extremely important to understand clarity, enhanced collaboration. So what is enhanced collaboration? Everybody working for the same goal. They all know, okay, at the end of the day, we are going to build this product, this thing out of our way, right? Accountability. If you share things with your team, they will become much more comfortable. In fact, they will come back to you telling that, okay, why are we doing this way? Why not that way? This is our goal. So why are we not doing it this way or that way, right? So there are a few questions that let's me take some moment to answer those. Who is the owner of product roadmap, and in what stage of building product or further features roadmap come into play? Okay, good question. So owner, I would say the first hand owner would be your product owner, product management. But I would say if you want to be very successful, please make it available for your team. Team should be able to go ahead and put their thoughts on the roadmap. Your roadmap should be that flexible that team should have the say, because at the end the team is going to make it possible for you, right? So I would not say that, and we will touch upon these points when we come to some myths and better practices, but I just thought of answering as I saw the question. So please ensure that you make it available for your teams. And in fact, not only teams, I would say your org, your leadership team. That document should be a kind of very handy that you go and tell, okay, this is the way I'm going to achieve my goal, my product. I'm going to achieve this thing through A, B, C, vision, goals, objective. These are the things laid out. Please challenge me. Please tell me where should I, kind of optimize, or what should I change, right? Okay. Moving ahead. I mean, this is extremely, self trade-off. I would like to call that point out, trade-off. This balance of roadmap is going to help you get a trade-off. See, we don't have all the resource in the world that we need. We have to do things with a certain amount of resources. Certain time you will have to take difficult stance, or difficult, results, or difficult, you will have to handle difficult situations, right? So that's the trade-off you will have to take. Should I prioritize something, or should I innovate something? Should I put my resources? The innovation idea is looking very lucrative. I am holding on my timeline, but I'm going to communicate it well. And I'm going to tell that, okay, because this innovation has come our way and it looks very lucrative and very value added, should we prioritize that in first place? So that's the trade-off that you will always have to take. And then embarrassing changes. We want to ensure that we are adaptable. Changes are the only thing that's going to come. You cannot be very stringent saying that, oh no, this is finalized, this is documented, I'm going to stick to this. It's not going to work, right? Every day there is a new technology coming in the market. Every day there is a new feature coming in the market. You have to ensure that you stay competitive. You embrace that change, right? You can't deny that. That's the need of our, like 10 years back, down the line, when we were working in waterfall model, things were different, but now it's quite agile, quite changing, right? Okay, so moving ahead, now let's see few challenges that I think everybody must be facing if you are a part of product ownership, or you might face in case you are aspiring product owner, right? How should be my product roadmap? Should it be detailed? Should it be kind of over detail, under detail? How it should be, right? What kind of detail should I put it? Objectives can have tons and tons of things. Whatever you put, you will feel there is something that is missing. You will always come to such conclusion. Oh, I missed this. Oh, I have not put the stakeholder name. I have not put the OKR measurement. Everything that you document, you will not feel it's complete. You are never going to feel that. Right? And so how should we address, right? Should it be dated? Like, should it always have a very stringent date on it? Efforts to maintain. Do we put somebody a whole, or no, you have to maintain the product roadmap? Do we have to do that? Right? Managing timelines. Right? When you put things in place, you also put, and there are types of roadmaps which we will talk in a minute or so. But should we put timeline to those things? You will always get these kind of challenges in your way. Right? So what are answers for all this? Can anybody quickly ping? Do we know answers for all this? Do we have answers for all this? Yes, no, don't know. Okay. Somebody is typing. Okay, let me share what I have learned in my product ownership career is to be not go into too much detail. Don't go for perfection at the start. Don't sit down and say, okay, today I'm dedicating my day to only craft product roadmap. That's not going to work, right? It will evolve. You have to have room. Don't go for perfection from the beginning. Let's think evolve. Let it take it pace, right? Once it takes it pace, you will have all the details that you need to add, right? It's going to tell you about right people. It's going to tell you about timelines, and that's where you keep on adding layers to it, right? So over the years, I have experienced that the roadmap should level, right? It should only say, make people understand when they're coming to your roadmap, they should know, okay, in Q2, this team is going to achieve XYZ features, right? Now, you can argue that, no, but why can't we add details, right? You might argue on that. So you will say, no, I am fond of putting all the details. So it is available for everybody. There is a lot of transparency. Good, you can do it. Nobody's saying no. But you have to ensure how much efforts you are putting at the end of the day to make this document living document, right? So keep on evolving, right? Put details as you encounter it. Should it be, how frequently should you do it? I would say Fridays are fun days. Take 5 minutes, ensure that your product roadmap is talking what you have done or what you will be doing in next 1 week or the past 1 week. Is it accurate, right? And don't take the responsibility to get along team saying, I'm going to manage this as a product owner. No, but let team do it, right? There is always audit trails, right? You can change it anytime. A teammate might have more detail than what you are thinking, right? They might have much more value addition that team might be looking for, right? You can't be on every developer's and every teammate's shoes to ensure that you get the details and add it back, right? So keep it open, keep it lucid at the start. Let it evolve over the time. Right? All the challenges that I've mentioned above, you will be able to overcome if you are not very stringent about the perfection, right? Perfection, in fact, even down the line, when you keep adding layers, right, you will not find it perfect. You will still find, okay, I need to add something more, right? You will always have something new about your product to add, right? And the second most thing, which I've not mentioned here, is adaptability. You should have always have your product roadmap adaptable to a level where you can pass it to any kind of team that you like, right? Be it a product team, be it be leadership team, be it be customers. It should be adaptable. Okay. So we have covered quite a lot on building the strategies and knowing things. Now let's talk about roadmaps. I think we are doing good on time. Yeah. So let's talk about roadmaps. So what do you think? What are few types of roadmaps? And I think you all must be using some kind of roadmap in your products, and very happy to know what you guys are using. But we'll share what are industry standards and what has helped me. I'll call that out in my learning journey. Right? So if released based, I think you all must be aware about released based. So how is it different, release based? How the release based work, right? So defining releases for your existing products or projects, right? It should be product. So basically, you have the product in market, okay? You want to keep it engaged. So it can be in any level. It can be experience wise, it can be performance wise. It can be also how you are adding new features, so it can be released based that way, because it's like your normal products that you are trying to sustain, right? Or maybe you want to grow on that product, or build a new path on those products, right? So let's see. So what are not time bound but have a fixed scope, right? Then the release base works best here. Next, sprint plans. Most of us must be using this in the company, I'm sure. Agile teams are most favorable for this. Very granular task, right? When you keep in mind developers, architects, all these people work at very, very detailed level, right? They need what are the exact inputs, what are the exact outputs, what is the performance, what is the percentage of performance we are trying to improve, how is our cache systems doing, are we doing, if I have changed the caching, is my database optimization running well? You have tons of things when it comes to that level of experts, right? So it's very task driven, very granular, that when you go in some kind of sprint planning and have developers open their tickets, right? So these are normally works well with bi-weekly sprints. And in my career, I've been using this holistically. How good, what use cases does it help? It can be your POCs, it can be your optimizing features, it can be your MVP projects, right? You're trying to make something new. It's the first time that you're doing. Then you want to channelize your energy, your resources only for that particular sprint, right? Because it is, a lot of things are at stake. So you want to ensure you have that use well utilized. At the end of the day, even if the MVP is not out, you should know, okay, now I know, I have learned like ABC things, so you can be better at what you're doing, right? Not all projects go live, but you have tons and tons of learnings out of it, which will help you make your another projects go best. And it will give you, in fact, it will give you what you didn't think of achieving sometimes. Right? Okay, let's move ahead. Now, next later. Anybody has heard about this? Now, next later. And what are the typical use case that this helps? It's a very broader type of roadmap. You are not confined to any kind of deliverable here, but you have the vision here. Your vision is very clear. Now, what I'm doing now, current product, short term, maybe 6 months or 3 months down the line. And what is the long term? So your organization might have different terminologies to define this, but it majorly helps your leadership team. It is used in your leadership town halls, because for them, it is very important to know that how are we doing on our current roadmap, right? How are we on track? Are we doing good? Is there room for optimization? Is there room for innovation, right? So this kind of roadmap helps that kind of audience. Okay. Kanban. So I think we all have heard this word, Kanban. It's again a type of a roadmap. The best it works is in your ongoing. It's based on timeline. So certain tickets, right? When you open tickets, something is not working, something is failed. You kind of open tickets. So it's kind of a ServiceNow kind of feature where the things are. It's a service tickets. These are my ongoing tickets. These are closed tickets. These are done, and these are in queue. Right? At a certain amount of time, there can be not more than 5 to 6 in your ongoing or in your backlog. So there are 3 queues in it. So this is very effective if you have that kind of projects, service tickets projects, right? And last is timeline based. So in timeline based, there are 3 more types: the feature type, feature timeline, objective timeline, and a release timeline. Okay. Now, when you ask about successful strategies here, okay, Palak, you have talked about types, but we are going back to how can we very successful in pioneering this roadmaps. So I would say it doesn't fit for all. So for certain leadership or certain senior folks, now next later will work best, right? For certain development oriented teams, which are very heavily in IT, they are optimizing things. Sprint planning works best for them. Right? You have to analyze your use case. At the end of the session, I'm going to throw you out with certain call to actions. So take back to your projects and think over it and kind of see where you can put all these things into actually action. Right? So feature based. If you are planning for new feature releases, you will most of the time you will end up combining things. So I would not say, okay, for A, go for B. It's not like that. It's throwing what's best thing available. When it comes to being very effective at it, it's always your use case. Go back to your use case. I have certainly shared certain use case which works best. It has worked best for me. Would happy to know if it does for you the same. Right? Okay, moving ahead. Just giving a thought, okay? I'm going to flash 2 slides and I want to kind of check, and this is just a interactive aspect of the session. I'm going to put 2 images and I want to know what do you think the developer will like, would be good for a developer. So this is the A, okay? This is the image A, and I'm going to put a next slide with image B. This is image B. So can we quickly spend 5 minutes, 5 seconds to tell me which one is better? Okay, I'm already getting answers. Cool. Okay, I think people are with me. So thank you for that. Obviously, it's B, right? A is more for the leadership team and more for, your stakes, knowing. So, okay, you want to see A? You can go back. So basically, when you put adaptable roadmaps, which are very adaptable to your leadership team, one best thing that you can put out for them is what are the challenges you are facing and what they can help you achieve, right? Because they are equipped with a lot of things which you are not aware at your level. This is a very good opportunity and it has worked extremely well for me. What are those challenges that your management can help you grow, right? They might just give you one thing and it might, solve your long-standing problem. And this is a very good opportunity to have things on your roadmap clearly mentioned. Right? Okay. Moving ahead. Okay, this is again a call for action for all of you. I have thrown some teams here. Okay. I want you to kind of introspect or maybe think which kind of roadmap are going to be beneficial for these kind of people. And you might come back telling, we have to plug the key components. That's absolutely fine, right? But you should have your key components. You should go to types of roadmap and you should be able to tell yourself that, yes, this is working for me, this is not working for me. In fact, you can take this back to your projects, introspect, and think that the biggest challenge that you're facing today, and of course, there might be people who are doing extremely well in the projects, but still there is always a room for innovation. There is always a room to get better, right? So I like the word better more than best because we can always be better. The best is something like, after that you don't, you are like almost best at it. But I like to say better because there is always a room for innovation. So you can think back and about yourself that, okay, I can adopt this and the things will be better for me, right? So that's again a call for action for you after the session. Let's talk about some myths. Some of it I saw in the chat, which I was not surprised because we all face those challenges in our day-to-day life. I'm going to throw a few of them and let's talk about it. Somebody, if people have heard about it, please say thumbs up, anything in the chat. Would happy to know that you guys have faced the same things. But these are some of the very common top myths that we all face as a product ownership, right? I come from the data background and my products are certainly very technical products. We run a lot of POCs. In current forte, it's more of strategic work that I do. But in my previous things, I worked on a lot of very data-driven pipelines. So performance was a very key thing that always used to be myth for me. So final commitments. Oh, I have documented my things well. I've shared with my everybody. Does it become that I am buying to it? No, you are not. It's always okay to change your roadmap. It's always okay to adopt it. If you have answers or maybe justification that why are you doing some changes, nobody is going to tell you that why are you doing it. It's for betterment, right? Feature driven. No, the roadmaps are not feature driven. Your roadmap should clearly speak about not only new things that you're going to do, but also the part that you're going to improve. If my payment is taking 1 second and 20, sorry, 90 seconds today, I want to get it done in 50 seconds. That's a feature, but it is tied back to your performance also. I am able to handle 1,000 people on my platform. Tomorrow, I want to handle 20,000 people. This is a feature which is not seen. So in terms of your going back to olden days, it becomes non-functional requirements, which is scalability, right? So adding all the details, no, not required. Please don't do it. In fact, keep the room for changes. Don't be very detail oriented. Don't stick to that. Keep moving things, right? Just add the detail which is required. That's all. And you can adapt, right? Responsibility. Somebody asked me who is responsible, and I told that we will talk about it in minutes. So certainly it's PO responsibility. I agree, but it is also team's responsibility to ensure that PMs and POs are very right on what they are putting there, right? It's a part of trust in the team. Your PMs and PO are relying on you, that the details that you're giving, they are putting in their words and putting it back to PO, but it becomes team's responsibility at the end of the day that things are right? It reflects the right picture, which is actually going on in the systems. Right? One size fits all, not at all. I would never agree to that, because your product roadmap should always be adaptable. It be any kind of audience, right? Different audience has different needs. Your product roadmap should be adaptable. And how can we make it adaptable? We will talk about that in upcoming quick slides. Okay. I'm going quick. I think we are almost on time, but yeah, it has to be living document, and it should support innovations. You should be deprioritize things, and don't stick to timelines. I would say keep it at very high level, right? It can be Q1, Q2, Q3, or maybe bi-quarterly or something like that. But on 25th of March, this will be done. Please don't keep it like that, right? Okay. Let's move ahead. Some better practices which has worked well for me. Some has not worked, some has worked, but I would like to quickly share some few things. It should be friendly enough that helps you build credibility. Your graphs should speak, right? That's why you are putting so much effort in building those things in first place, right? It takes so much effort. You put your data on the tools, and then you put the graphs in place, and now you have to explain the graph. Then what's the point of building the graph? Okay, so don't do that. Keep the graph simple, right? Think about big picture, what your management will in. Think about when your team is going to read your document, they know the vision, right? They are reading your mind, right? It's a beautiful thing. They are reading your mind. They know what you're thinking, right? Frequent updates, as I mentioned, Fridays work well for me. 5 minutes, done. But yeah, it's up to us to think and what works best, right? In a very, very process-driven projects, it might not work. You might want to do in 10 days, in 15 days, right? It depends upon the use cases, I would say. Embrace change. Healthy conflicts, always welcome. I am very fond of healthy conflicts. It brings best out of you. It pushes your limits. And at the end of the day, it makes you a better person, right? When I say better person, not that you're better, in terms of how you are learning and how you are putting it back to your work, right? It enhances your skills. Okay. Keep it simple, use right tools, provide context, and do not keep it confined to only development, right? Moving ahead, the next logical step is telling your story. I will not go in detail. This is a subject in itself, but your story has to be quite touchy. It has to be, first of all, quite a good information for anybody to take a decision. Information is a key. Data is a key. It should also link back to emotions. Only then you will be able to make compelling story. What is that pain point that your customer is facing? If you are making a very good solution to that pain point, you are connecting not only emotionally, and then you are also giving the data to it. Because we solved this issue, now the system is doing better by so much percentage, right? So that's how you connect, give your compelling stories. And that's why you are building all this, right? In the first place, you want to ensure that you can communicate it extremely well with the 110% clarity. I won't be touching that as we have 5 minutes. I want to keep some time for questions. Okay, so keeping typical features that any tool should have. Ensure whatever tool you are using, it may be, there are hundreds of tools extremely well on the internet. I won't go into those details, but ensure that you're judging the tool well and it is working for your use case. It should have visualization, it should have audit risk tracking. It should be, integration is extremely important. You don't want to keep on manually doing things, download sheets, upload over there. You don't want to get into all that, right? It should have automated collection of feedback. These are very, very key things that your road mapping tool should have, right? Versioning, drag and drop feasibility, customizable. You don't want to spend hours and hours to customize your roadmap for your audience. Should be very easy to you, right? So please judge, or please, kind of go back to your tools, ensure that it is giving you all these flexibility. If you are in a management position, if you are in a position to take a decision for your company, then please do the justice to your features, and you can, compare it and give back to it. And there are a lot of comparisons also available on the internet readily for you. I had a lot of things on this, but I want to go on this important slide. We are all in a disruptive age, and we are very fortunate or unfortunate, I don't know that, but we are very lucky, I would say, to have LLMs, generative AI in place. I would not say it's working well or not well. It is subjective. We'll not go into that details, but yeah, I wanted to throw that. Please, this is one of the third call to action for you. Think what disruptive generative AI tools are going to help you in your automating it. What benefits you'll get? You'll accelerate to market, you will accelerate work, you will remove redundant work, repetitive work, right? Think about all those use cases. You can provide more time to ideation. It can be faster in your development capabilities. So it can be anything, right? As simple as your stakeholder meetings. You can just take the transcript, put it in a template. Your generative AI tool is doing all that, right? There are so many use cases and the things that I've thrown here, but feel free to kind of leverage it. It can make a templated PRDs for you automatically, right? I would not say only the automation part, but also the innovation part. Think about that as well. So this is a call to action for you. Grouping your customers, it can help you in that as well, right? You have a certain customer with certain needs, it's going to help you in that. LLM and generative AI tool, there are tons and tons of available. Call to action is, please go ahead and utilize and see where it benefits you the best in your road mapping strategies. So with that, I think I almost come to an hour, and I'm very happy to bring this to conclusion on time, though I had to rush on last 2 slides. Sorry about that, but happy to go to question. We have like 3-4 minutes. So very happy to kind of share anything that we come up. Could you share the case study? Yeah, I will, Kaushal, I'll share it with you. You can share it to anybody that you want. It's a very common case study. Yeah.
We'll send it across the way.
Yep. Okay, I think I answered most of them through my session. Sorry if I have missed anything, but I think I've answered it. With that, I'll give it to you back, Kaushal.
Thanks for that. As always, this has been quite an enlightening session. Folks, we still have a minute or two to answer any questions you have. I believe all of you pretty much answered a lot of anticipated questions through the session.
Sorry, I am not able to hear you clearly, Kaushal.
No worries. I was just saying you actually have answered a lot of questions through the session itself, through the content you've shared. But there is one from Nikisha. Could you share the time where you had to deal with trade-off?
So the major time that it's a prioritization, right? That's the major challenge. And when it comes to prioritization, there are a lot of things and a lot of techniques available. We won't go in that detail, but on the techniques part, but the trade-offs as a product owner would be challenging your vision. So your vision is something and it's going well, but now there is some innovation that has come up and your team thinks, or maybe some important stakeholder is thinking that you want to kind of go that route and put this on hold. Are you in a position to take that decision, right? That's the trade-off you take. Trade-off can be in terms of aligning your resources to task A to task B. It can be in terms of money. Some money you have already parked for something. Now you will have to kind of channelize it here, right? Or it can be in terms of your goal itself. You might have to change your objectives now because something has come which has taken a priority. So it's trade-off as a product owner. And I would say, look, go for data, go for details, whatever the details say, and of course your expertise throughout your career. You can talk to your senior folks, leadership team, that gives you a lot more confidence in your decision, and that's the way you kind of trade it off. What is a major difference between manager and product? Oh, this question came very late. I was expecting this question quite of the start of my session. I have always kind of faced this question. So I would say it depends upon organizations, right? Some organization doesn't even have the positions of manager, right? Product owner is very common terminologies that we are seeing. First, there was a confusion between Scrum master and the product owner. Now it has shifted to kind of product manager and the product owner. So I would say, to what I have experienced, product owner is the person who only talks about who is responsible for your product ownership when it comes to your vision, your OKRs, your mission, etc., etc. Product management is where product owner works very closely and tells that, okay, we are facing the resource challenge. Can you address that? Product manager is kind of a backbone. He might have couple of different products owners to handle. Right? That has worked for me. How I've experienced, they help you in your kind of over and above your product ownership life cycle, I would say, for your resource needs, for your if you're facing any challenge in vendor management, etc., etc. They help you your coverage out of your product life cycle if you need any support. Sorry for that long answer.
We have a question from Sunil. I think this will be probably the last question we took today. As a fresher, what would you suggest a quick way to start a career in product management? And as an MBA student as well.
As a fresher, I think you can be part of take some courses if you like, if you're aspiring that, and I think MBA would have equipped you well with that. I would say just go for a job, right? On the job training is the best thing that you can do. I have learned a lot on the job, right? And always find a good senior that would guide you through your journey, that's going to checkmate what you're doing, right? And give you confidence in the things that you do.
And just to add to that, what I would also suggest is create a portfolio of product case studies or product breakdowns, which you can showcase to potential hiring teams. It demonstrates that you take initiative, and then you understand how to target specific problem statements on improving the product or a feature or a service. Always work on demonstrating actionable work done. You could also include setting up your own project. It could be building your own website or an app using no-code tools, just to demonstrate that you have the tendency to build something.
I think it's one interesting question here on technical ownership. So I would say I was a technical product owner, and I would say at least you should know what the system does, what is the capabilities, what are the market, what is the market competitive in that. So if a developer is coming to you, no, I want to implement this, you should be in a position to challenge them. Why do you want in first place? So you should at least have the knowledge of the product in and whole, right? And the competitive edge about it. Not that you need to go and code, but yeah, at that level.
Cool. I think we are out of time, folks. Thanks so much for your questions and your engagement through this session today. Okay, fine. I have one final question from Shubhi. How much technology ownership does a TPO take? So
I just replied that, Kaushal.
Yes, correct. Just to add to that,
Okay.
I'd probably say you as a PM, you have to work on the high leverage activities and ensuring you optimize the resources which you have. That could include, looking at your development, design and development team, how much time do you have, how many what resources do you have in terms of capital, etc. So, as a TPO, you should have an understanding of what you're building, but you are not driving the technical decision making there. That's up to the development team. I hope that answers your question today. All right. With that, we end today's star session. Palak, to be honest, this has been like a pretty detailed walkthrough of a lot of topics today. Thank you for joining us and sharing your knowledge. We really appreciate it.
Thanks, Kaushal. Thanks. Grateful for providing me opportunity. Thank you so much. Thanks to you. Thanks everybody for joining me today.
Thanks everyone. Have a great rest of the evening. In case you want to check out PM's flagship program, Priyal from my team will reach out as a follow-up to the invites that we sent out for this particular session. Please do reach out and get your queries answered. We will be kickstarting a new session in a couple of weeks. So please, we would love to have you join us. So with that, we end today's session. Thanks everyone. Have a great rest of the week. Good night. Thank you, Prad. Bye.